So the National Main Street Center has been incubating Main Street programs for, over 40 years now. I have to confess, I have a connection with Main Street. As an Eagle Scout, I participated in Corning, New York, in one of the beta test Main Street programs back in 1979. So the National Main Street Center has demonstrated importance and significance in helping redevelop downtowns across the country. There are hundreds of Main Street programs. Florida is a very active Main Street program that has been in place since 1985. Palm Harbor had an active Main Street program starting around 2002, and it went dormant. And there's an effort to resurrect and reestablish the Main Street program in downtown Palm Harbor. Can we pause for a second? Okay, very good. And we have some representatives from the downtown Palm Harbor Main Street here. Louise Goetz, and you have with you a couple members of your board with you? Okay, so welcome please, Louise Goetz and her Main Street board.
Okay, all right. Good afternoon. On July 13th, 1999, Pinellas County voted to protect Old Palm Harbor's small town identity and maintain its unique character. On March 15th, 2023, the Historic Preservation Board voted unanimously to reinstate the Main Street in Palm Harbor. Just days ago, we received our welcome back letter from the Florida Main Street. So that's why we're not super prepared for this. It just came through. The downtown Palm Harbor area is known for street festivals throughout the years. Being an unincorporated area has its advantages and challenges, and after great work done with County Commissioner Brian Scott and the Historic Preservation Board, we were able to reorganize the federal and state Main Street programs and renew a private-public sector relationship in record time. Main Street was established as a program of the National Trust for Historic Preservation in 1980 as a way to address issues facing older and historic downtowns. Palm Harbor makes up 28 miles of Pinellas County, 10 of which are water. Our commercial district is one of the last underdeveloped downtowns in Florida. This offers great opportunities for the community. Effective planning begins with knowing what you have. We are currently redefining our Main Street map, and our first grant submission is for an updated historical asset survey. Preserving, protecting, and promoting our historical assets is very important in this undertaking. We have seen a resurgence in Palm Harbor of business owners, residents, schools, and nonprofits wanting to work together to make our downtown a vibrant area, a true Main Street with weekend events, vendors, and entertainment. Main Street America leads a movement committed to strengthening communities through preservation-based economic development in older and historic downtowns and neighborhood commercial districts. Some of you may not be familiar with the Main Street. Cumulative reporting statistics released this week show that private investment in the program is over $3 billion. Public investment, close to $4 billion. Jobs, over 33,000. 10,000 businesses, and over 1.5 billion volunteer hours have been recorded with the Florida Main Street program. Using transformative strategies that are implemented through comprehensive work in 4 areas, known as the 4 points, we will prove effective strategies that have been proven all over the country. The first strategy is economic vitality, the second is design, the third is promotion, and the fourth is organization. Some of the key areas the Palm Harbor Main Street will be focusing on are accessing new sources of program revenue, building stronger partnerships, conducting successful outreach to the community, improving the streetscape, strengthening our board, supporting diversity, supporting existing businesses, supporting new businesses as they launch, promoting new art in the downtown, and promoting the downtown as the center of the community and creating an image that celebrates its culture and history. Our work plan includes thriving social media channels, small business Saturdays, community cleanups, farmers markets and sidewalk chalk festivals, implementing Florida landscaping and native flower plantings, new resident annual breakfast, quarterly small business seminars, and updating the community about available grants. Creating an entertainment calendar for the district, including live music, comedy shows, upcoming events, not just for our organization, but the other local entities, helping to provide our residents with a master calendar. This will help bring awareness and drive traffic to the district. Another work plan focus we have chosen to create is a healthy lifestyle community, highlighting the Pinellas Trail and monthly family fitness classes to include local yoga studios, fitness groups, and schools surrounding the district. Excuse me. We are working with the Department of Environmental Protection's Trail Towns program to establish walking trails within the district. Our cultural impact work plan is a new and exciting way to bridge progress. Our targeted first large event is an annual street closure and concert called Revival. This will be a statewide gospel search hosted at the Reba Sutton Whitechapel, the heart of our district and great historic asset. This will be our social injustice portion of the plan. We will show progress made in the district through the years, promoting and creating an opportunity for partnerships with minority communities, women-owned businesses, and the Black community. We will treat this as a statewide opportunity to promote progress. Each gospel choir must reside in Florida. We will try to use injustice grants as a way to provide scholarships and funding to this often overlooked group in a fun new way, exposing our community to new forms of art and culture. We believe that events are an important part of downtown Palm Harbor. The district lends itself to large and small events. This provides important opportunities for local vendors who otherwise cannot afford or do not have a storefront. This is a vital element to local artisans' success. We plan to grow a healthy base of vendors and grow the events to statewide interest. With the proven transformation strategies and a great board of directors, we will be able to see this vision come to life. I would like to introduce Terra Schmidt. Terra is on the Main Street board, and she is here to share some insight into the new energy in downtown.
All right, good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for having us. I'm very excited to be here working alongside Louise and Dan over here on the initiative to establish downtown Palm Harbor as a historical destination. So how I got here in my role on the board. I'm the COO of Earthscape's Garden Room, and this is a 3D design, landscape, and construction company located in the middle of downtown Palm Harbor. We also are the home of the Garden Room, which is a retail plant nursery that has been beautifully landscaped. It's a beautiful oasis, literally in the middle of downtown Palm Harbor. So we have 11 lots of space that we use for retail plants, as well as a venue. So historically, our venue has been known as more of a wedding type of a place, high-end weddings, some fundraisers and whatnot. But recently, we decided to expand our space into the back half, which was previously used for our landscape division. So the owner said, yeah, let's expand it. Let's move the trucks and the mulch and all that stuff, and let's make it an event space. So I said, okay. So what are we going to use it for? Like a big park? Like what, you know? So we started talking about it, and I said, let's really open up to the community. Like we have this beautiful space in the middle of downtown Palm Harbor. Let's start uniting the local businesses. Let's make a space for festivals, for people to bring their kids, and for even smaller private parties. So started brainstorming, and then I thought, well, Louise, she owns a restaurant right across the way from us, and I thought, I'd really like to join forces with her, because she puts on a lot of events in downtown Palm Harbor. So I called her up and I said, hey, this is what we're doing. We're expanding out, we're growing. Let's bring the community together. Let's work together. Let's come up with some ideas. And she took me out for lunch on my birthday, and that was the beginning of this. And she said, you know what? Let's do something better. Why don't you be on the board for the Main Street board? And I said, yeah, let's do that. So since we've been working together, we've put on quite a few events. There was the Tunnel to Towers fundraiser, did a picnic in the park where we had food trucks and local vendors, and people brought their kids in and hung out at the koi pond and did some shopping. We did an Earth Day Love Your Mother event, fitness festival, with 3 of the local fitness studio owners. We put that together, had a really cool DJ, had over 100 people come just to work out and have a really good day. Had a high school graduation party recently, hosted the Ozona PTA end of school year, where we did a really high-end dinner up at the boutique, which we also have an indoor houseplant boutique on our property. We have a lot of stuff on our property. But so we did that. And then Louise and I are planning other events for the community, as well as our landscaping division. We do a lot of really high-end landscape design and construction. We actually even do some here in St. Pete. And so we want to take a look and redesign some of the downtown Palm Harbor to make it more plush and lush. So we have 2 initiatives that we're working on, and this is the focus of where we are in the Main Street Board today. Yay!
All right. So as Terra said, I own a restaurant. I don't give a lot of presentations, so I was able to catch my breath for a minute. Does anybody here have familiarity with the Main Street program? Yes? Yes? Do we love it? The Hallmark effect in the downtown? So we have a great area that we want to have a comprehensive marketing plan for to bring people down, families, all walks of life, and just utilize our great space. Another part of our work plan is promotion. I'm going to go back to reading. Another part of our work plan is promotion. Through storytelling, we will define the district. We will use social media channels and a strong website. We will highlight the history and impact of the railroad, historic structures, and key figures through the last 100 years in downtown Palm Harbor. Most of our images of downtown across the country are nostalgic. Small towns like Norman Rockwell painted them, a downtown that Grandma and Grandpa lived in. Downtowns were clean and safe, friendly, full-service commerce, lively and quaint. That is how we like to remember them. Over time, things have changed. With single ownership, controlled operations, and managed advertising, shopping centers have slowly taken over. Images have begun to change, and there is clearly a distinction between the two. Traditional commerce districts must now catch up to their competitors to establish a presence. To succeed, downtown organizers must now develop an image for the district, understand what their district offers, gain consensus not only on the vision, but the position it will take and the strategy for achieving it. We must then apply creativity to our image. That is where Dan O'Brien comes in. Dan is an accomplished record producer, longtime waterfront Dunedin and Ozona resident. He has worked on pilot projects for the Discovery Channel. His record company once resided in the J.C. Cravers building, the first postmaster in Palm Harbor. He has visited and documented historic locations from Charleston to Tarpon Springs. Dan has a great respect and interest in Florida history and has brought us some highlights of his work. While the images and message for Palm Harbor is still being constructed, we feel that with Dan sitting on our board, we can bring together a vision for Palm Harbor that highlights its natural resources, promotes its small businesses, and represents the community we love. Dan, if you'd like to show your video.
I'll run this and I'll kind of talk you through it. This is just a synopsis of some of the stuff I've shot. Before we start, I just want to say something real quickly. I started this journey with doing a thing with Bertie Higgins and the Bellmead brothers up for a documentary or a series that they were shooting. And this is about 6 years ago, and I've had an interest in Florida history because it's so fascinating, and many of us forget about the fact it started in 1513, which is a couple of weeks ago. And it's been under several flags, and the British and the Spanish duked it out quite a bit in the fascinating history of the Revolutionary War and the British War, and of course the Civil War, and all of the communities that were involved in that history. And I've shot a tremendous amount of stuff in the Black community, and I was involved heavily with the Gullah Geechee community from Charleston to St. Augustine, and realized that in St. Augustine really is the history of Florida, and many as the start of it. Go ahead and run it. Yep. This is part of the Florida Cracker Trail ride, which I was across, goes from Bradenton to Fort Pierce, which was really just fascinating. Through this particular ranch was a 12,000 acre ranch that we cut across. I'm a foodie. I really like good food, so I always incorporate that into some of this stuff. This is great meals. Charleston's a wonderful city for food. I was in Hilton Head, and that was an scrumptious meal. Of course, you know Tarpon Springs. Darien, Georgia, on one of the largest rivers in the southeast, along the salt marshes, would affect St. Augustine in a very profound way. And the Scottish Highlanders, who were brought here by the Crown, would lose their lives in St. Augustine over a battle in 1740.
That's a huge question. As a historian, it was a confirmation that people of all colors, shapes, sexes, and sizes were contributors to history. We don't do it justice if we take a week and study Spanish history and a week on Black history and a week on Florida history. It's all Florida.
When you talk about Black history, African and African American history, it's all combined and it all comes together in St. Augustine.
Another legally sanctioned free settlement of people of African descent, which will be called Fort Mose. Many of us Americans who have roots in colonial past may have come not as noblemen, but as indentured servants. There may have been a time in our colonial past where regardless of color, we stood side by side in the same fields.
Our political government that controls us today, that we vote for and that we live in, it was all created during the colonial era here in the Americas. This was the crossroads of the Spanish global economic empire.
British and the Fort Mose militia, the Native Americans and the soldados from the Castillo attacked Fort Mose and retook the fort. And I think there was minimal casualties on the Spanish side, but the British suffered a large number of casualties. Colonel Palmer was killed at that battle, and General Oglethorpe, as I understand it, was reprimanded.
General Oglethorpe is coming down. He's vowed to take Florida, take St. Augustine, and take the fort. 20-something day siege. He also finds out, like Governor Moore did with the Carolinians in 1702, that the Castillo de San Marcos is a tough nut to take.
Well, it means to us that they're learning their history, and they are every African city and continent, they are talking about it. So that's telling us they are connecting who they are with the African nation. And these children are all from St. Helena Elementary, and they know each country that's represented here today.
Wonderful. Thank you so much.
My name is Patience Chaplin, and the school I attend is St. Helena Elementary School. And the country I'm representing is Brazil.
I had a really very epiphanal day here with this community and how generous they are and how loving they are and caring. And this whole area is I'm just knocked out with it. It's a very moving day.
Being Gullah means that you have more Africanisms intact than any other black person in America.
If, as we move forward with this project we have in Palm Harbor, it's very important to me with 7 grandchildren here in the state that we do know our history here. And in filming across the state, I'm seeing it being bulldozed at a rapid rate. So it behooves all of us to learn about the history of this fascinating state and what importance we hand off to our grandchildren and all of us. Thank you.
And this basically concludes our presentation. Palm Harbor is the largest historic district in Pinellas County. And we're very excited to grow it and to change the image and to bring more people to it. So thank you for your time.